Unless specifically indicated otherwise, the content expressed are my views only and not necessarily those of Life Pro Asset Management, LLC. The content presented is in no way an investment advice, solicitation, or an offer to sell securities or investment advisory services. The material is provided for general information and educational purposes based upon publicly available information from sources believed to be reliable. I cannot assure the accuracy or completeness of these materials. As such, the information in these materials may change at any time without notice. Reference to these discussions about IULs and annuities are fixed insurance products. Investments on fixed insurance products are different from investments in the stock market. Any guarantees provided by a fixed insurance product cannot be assumed to be guaranteed for any other investment.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Joseph, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Joseph.
Hey there, y'all. We're back once again for an amazing show. I'm so excited about this one. This is my Soul Sisters series, and I hope you have an amazing group of women that you can count on and that are in your corner no matter what. Kind of like that song by Train, Drops of Jupiter, that they literally are going to say yes and be there for you, even when you're screwing up, even when you're making a mistake. They love you no matter what. Well, I have those women in my life, and I am absolutely 100% grateful. And we are doing a series with them joining me as well. And so each time is going to be a little bit different. And since this is a live show, we all know there's no redoing, there's no delete, there's no erase, there's no whiteout, there's no none of that. Like what you see is what you get, and we are real, and we are real talk. So children, close your ears for sure. And women, get your notes, because we actually give amazing gems here. Today, we are talking about, what does success look like in your life? We're going to define it. We're going to see in the different areas how it actually shows up in our life. And we're all going to give you our opinions, which I can guarantee you right now, we're all going to be very different. So hang on to your chairs and come on in. And I'm actually not sure who's backstage. I know Petalyn is here. I'm not sure if Karen's here yet or not, but let me go ahead and introduce whoever shows up. Come on in. Okay. Petalyn, Miss Reverend Petalyn is here. We love her. She's amazing. She is our grounding spiritual soul sister. She's the one that keeps us on track and laughing our asses off, because she will just come up with something hilarious that we would never even think of. Hi, Petalyn. How are you?
Hi, Jennifer. I am doing great. Happy to be here as always. Yeah.
I love your stove in the back. It makes me have amazing fond memories of my house in Discovery Bay that had a wood burning stove, and we stayed so cozy all the time.
Yep. It's quite cold up here. It's in the 30s up in here in Mount Shasta, and very rainy. So it's nice. It's comforting.
It's comforting. It is comforting, right?
Yeah.
Like it.
And if current goes out, I can cook on it. So it's great. I mean, it's
Oh.
Yeah.
And that happens, right?
That happens. Sometimes just for fun, because everything tastes different, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, the only thing I ever did on my wood burning stove was boil water in the little tea kettle, and that was about it.
That's a start. That's a beginner's course.
That's a start.
Yeah.
Yep, I love it. Well, I'm not quite sure where Karen is. It's a live show. We'll hope she's all good and everything's good. She might be in the wrong StreamYard room like I was. And we want to share our condolences with Denise. She is our other soul sister that we love so much. And her aunt passed away. And so she has taken a reprieve, and we just want to send how much that we love her. We also want to send our condolences to Janet's husband, Joe. They've been married for 60 years. So they've been together for a very long time, and her children, Caron and Andrew. And so next month, when the Soul Sisters meet again, we are going to absolutely do a little memorial for Aunt Janet and have Denise share a little amazing story that she had from her. But this actually brings us into real life, right? Like, what does success mean when you have a death of a loved one? So this kind of brings us all into context of real success and real life when we do have a passing of one of our loved ones. And Denise, we love you so much. We just want to give you a shout out. Okay.
It's really
Petalyn,
hard.
did you ever meet Aunt Janet?
I don't think I met Aunt Janet. I met another elder in her family, but I mean, a couple of things. Well, in terms of Denise, she and her family are very close. So, this is. I'm not sure if it's a sister on mom's side or sister on dad's side, but she's lost both her parents right now. So losing an aunt is pretty significant in a family that is close. So I'm just took a moment this morning to sort of think about that. And and there's been a lot of loss, a lot of wonderful opportunities as well. But let's just face it, there's been a lot of loss, a lot of change, and so I think even tuning in next month when we do a memorial, it's a wonderful opportunity to just sort of be reflective and stay conscious of what's required as we move through life. Anyway, so
I love
just a
that.
thought there. Mm.
I love that. And I think that we get so busy, especially in the busy times of whatever your year might be, busier than, others, depending on business and holidays and all that great stuff. We
Yeah.
forget that there are people that are hurting. There are people that are grieving. And from my past, I'm a certified grief counselor now after many years of, figuring all of that great stuff out, but losing my children and my separated husband at the time. And I felt like I was the only person in the world that was going through grief. Like I could not wait to jump into the grief groups and stuff to get other people's opinions as well. But our society does not handle grief that great. We can talk about success and everybody's down for that. But when we talk about grief, I don't think it's handled the best. What do you think, Petalyn?
We don't talk about death very much. I think for those, I think there's a good portion of the population who is now sort of coming to terms with that deficit in our cultural awareness or training or collective consciousness. So it stands to reason that we don't really want to face grief, our own or anybody else's. Excuse me, you keep talking, I have something going on with my throat.
Okay, I'm gonna keep talking, no problem.
Must be about grief.
Yeah, right. Grief is stuck in your throat, girl.
It is. Speaking of being stuck, right?
Yeah, being stuck. So our topic today is around success. We did want to honor Denise and her Aunt Janet, of course, and her whole family that are dealing with this. So let's get back to our topic of success. And this is when Denise let us know about this. I did not change. Like, this is my comfy sweatshirt that says more love, because that's what success means to me. And so another thing of success is being able to show up in front of whoever and be my complete, authentic, real self and have a conversation with my amazing soul sister that I love dearly and I'm so grateful for in my life, and being my complete, authentic self. That is huge success for me, because I would have never done that in my 20s or 30s and probably or 40s, actually. So to be able to show up today in my comfy sweatshirt that just says more love and be my true self, that is a portion of success for me. What do you think about that, Petalyn?
I wake up in the morning and bling. I don't know about you. I mean,
Oh,
my hair
yes.
done, my makeup on, like you. I mean, I don't really know why this is part of the discussion.
Bullshit, but okay.
Even up here in Hickdown in the mountains, we all wake up with makeup on and our hair done.
Of course.
Oh my God,
Oh my God.
No, I completely agree. I mean, this obviously, we are done for the show, but you're right. I mean, what I love about the internet and the way that we're using it in this way, particularly, is it does allow for us to sort of keep a balance. Like, I mean, I have my PJ bottoms on, believe it or not,
Yeah.
So, it's, earth with heaven, earth connected to heaven, somehow or other. I don't know, but yeah.
And I think that's something that COVID brought to us is more Zoom, more online stuff. And I have 20 leggings and pants and, that I just keep rotating and washing every week, because that's what I stay in every day. Like, it's pretty cool. Yeah, our
that's
uniform, our
Yeah.
online Zoom uniform. Oh my
Mm.
gosh, we should actually have a sweatshirt that says Zoom uniform. That's such a good idea. So, what do you, let me say, how do you define success in your life? Or what does it look like in your life to you?
Well, I mean, I think for anyone who has striven for what they believe success is, how we all think we define success in our 20s and our 30s, or even as a kid, when we look out at our life and think, okay, when I go out there, this is what it's going to look like. In reality, it's typically very different, right? And I think it has a lot to do with exactly what we're talking about. Success really only works, and therefore is perhaps true success, if it works within the rest of our lives, right? If it works with the changes and the shifts that happen, if it allows for these things, as well as provides us a goal, something to work toward, an aspiration, whether it's millions of dollars, horses in a ranch, or spiritual enlightenment, whatever that is, it has to work within the context of everyday life, because change is constant. So that for me defines success. And I think it's really important to ask ourselves the question that you just asked, because, and to ask, does my idea of success, and what is my idea of success? What exactly is it? What exactly does it require? Right? And does my idea of success fit in with life? Does it offer enough spaciousness for me to really embrace the things that happen every day, so that I can really show up in my life? Because life happens between life and death. It doesn't happen all of a sudden, a day or two or whatever before you die, which we never know when that's going to be, right? So
Right.
yeah, I mean, considering our mortality is also a very important part of that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I love how you say, our constant is change. My idea of success in my life has changed dramatically. Starting off, we wanted an A on our paperwork, and then I wanted a B, and then I just wanted to get the hell out of high school. Just get me through statistics in college. I don't care what grade I get, just don't get me a D. Success absolutely changes, and you enter into the workforce, and I'm very competitive and total, recovery of perfectionism. And so I had to be the top salesperson. I had to be the top, all that. Like if I got kudos for something, I wanted to get it. And I would think that was success until I received it. And then it was like, okay, wait a minute. I do not feel successful at this moment. I feel like there's always something that can detract from the success that we think is going to make us feel a certain way when we actually don't, once we accomplish that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I would wager that was because we had, and at that time of our lives, again, we have an image, a vision of what success is, but we haven't really thought about the doing of it. It's an image. It's not a practicum, right? And so, but it's also, I think, it's a part of when we are young. If we have too much information, we would never do it.
That's true.
So it's sort of, I think there's also a little bit in there that we need to be patient with ourselves and allow for these things to change. And I think that's really true. I think a lot of us, we tend to maintain a fixed view of something, a fixed definition of, say, success, and it doesn't work. And as it doesn't work, and it doesn't work more and more as we grow up and grow older and our lives change, it can set us up for feeling more and more like a failure, or that imposter syndrome, and so on. It's because we really haven't really defined what success actually is in practical terms, but we also haven't allowed for the possibility that it will change, and that it needs to change. It should change in order for success to still be successful. So.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Thank you for bringing that up, because a couple of things that I thought of when you were talking. First of all, we absolutely have to be okay with it changing. It must change. I did not think that in my first marriage, my success was being married. Was I happy? Hell no. Did I know it? Hell no, because my whole ideal was to be married. And so I stayed married for 10 years because I thought success was being married. Well, we all know that's not success. So I didn't know that then. And so I did that. Then I also stayed at companies that I did not share the same values and the same foundation of integrity and honesty. And I still stayed there too long because I felt like the money that I was bringing in was success, or the goals that I was achieving was success. And it wasn't. I was leaving myself out, my values out, my integrity out. And I've moved so many times after I understood that success is inside. When I feel successful, I'm successful. I might not be able to explain that to anyone, and it doesn't matter, but I am fully successful in certain areas of my life at certain times. So I love that you say that it absolutely must change, because our lives change.
Yeah, it really has to keep up with us. I mean, our current view. One of the things that I work with a lot with my clients too is just updating their values. Same thing, updating their
Yes.
values. We think we have a certain set amount of values, and 10 years goes by, 15 years go by, and we haven't. We think that those are still our values. We sort of parrot them, like, "How are you?" "Fine." That kind of thing. "What do you do?" "I am a doctor." Whatever. It's just one of these things that we sort of parrot. It's like, my values are family, my values are love, my values are this, my values, and they're very broad terms, umbrella terms to start with, typically, right? We haven't again figured out what does that practically actually mean, and we haven't also kept up with whether or not that, if we have thought about that practical facet of how do we actually put those things into action, we haven't necessarily updated them. So we don't spend a lot of time thinking about these things. And I remember Keith Cunningham, I think it was, some guest at Tony Robbins at the Business Mastery that I went to years ago. He brought up the idea that wasn't his. I think it was, I don't remember anyway, but it was some very successful historical person. And he attributed his success to thinking time. That the majority of his time was spent in thinking time. And that was what he attributed his success to, because most of the work is done actually in our mind, in our brain, between the ears, where we can look at something, think of something, kind of like Stephen Hawking's kind of, figure out how it all will work and so on, and really spend the time thinking about, is this practical? Can I do this? If I can, how can I? If I can't, how may I? Or whatever, or should I at this point? Is this even a place for it in my life at this particular juncture? Whatever. So whatever it is, just to really think about these things. And we can do a lot of the work just in our minds, but we have to actually section out that time and allow for that, right? But one of the things you bring up too is that we're also brainwashed to feel like a failure if we shirk our commitments. So if you make a commitment to a company, or a commitment to this, or commitment to that, we stay there much longer because we tell ourselves that, well, we honor our commitments, right? No matter what it does to us, right? So
Very true.
So it's really interesting. It kind of comes at us from all sorts of angles. Again, we have to really be conscious of these things and to think about them and decide for ourselves if these truisms that we all just sort of accept, that good Midwestern work ethic, are they actually true, and are they true for us? So.
I love that, and I know that I would have never put a value on thinking time, because I thought doing made me better. Yeah. And the year that I finally got that, after my coaches and many coaches and doing a lot of out of the box, as you say, as education and soul searching and all of that great stuff, realizing that the year that I did much less, I doubled my income. So, right. It's so interesting when I've always strived for, I thought success was money. I thought success was status. I thought, way back when I thought it was, like my home. And I do still believe that my success does, or just the word success brings me a feeling of freedom. Now, my success looks different now, right? I definitely love being financially free, but financially free looks different every year as well. So that even changes. So being able to be successful could be literally getting up today and getting out of bed, showing up for this podcast. It doesn't have to be anything absolutely huge, or staying in a marriage that's unwanted or abusive, staying in a company that you've been bullied at for so long, staying in a friend relationship with someone who's completely bringing you down, and also searching for, like you said, thinking time. So putting time in your calendar for, I know like you did the other day, a couple hours for meditation. And I'm like, oh my God, I could never be silent that long. I love you, Petalyn, for showing me another world. I'm doing that like one of these days. So that to me would be hugely successful. I could actually shut up for like 2 hours and just sit there and be with myself. I don't even know if I could do that. So tell me something that you would say that you felt successful about over the last couple of weeks that you've accomplished or done or experienced.
Well, I mean, for me, it is, like you said, it is about feeling like you have the room and the freedom to do the things that are important to you. And for me, I mean, my life, as you know, has changed from being more focused in the world to being not in the material world as much. For me, success means, and has always meant since I was a child, actually. I figured I would grow up, I would get married, I would probably adopt a rainbow family because I wasn't giving birth. That was never going to happen to my body. And I was going to, my husband would probably either die or we'd get a divorce, because everybody seemed to get a divorce when I was a kid. And then I would go live in the mountains, and I would live a spiritual life in meditation and, enlightenment. And
that's what you're doing.
Oddly enough, I have some version of all of that. I'm not sure about the enlightenment part, but we're working on it. But
you're very enlightened. Stop.
So to answer your question, just one little thing is that, Monday is my I call it me day, right? My meditation day. I increased my meditation time to 4 hours.
Oh my
God. And this isn't like a look at me, I increased my time to 4 hours. This is a holy crap. I actually was able to sit there for 4 hours because, I used to do, like, not too long ago, it was just half-hour meditations. And even at 20 minutes, I was kind of like, okay, when is the ding going to go off, kind of thing. But something somewhere along, this is the value of practice and being conscious too, or trying as best, but using that thinking time, being conscious around what we do, what we want, what's going on this week. How do we want to be with the week, regardless of what we want to do? That's a whole other thing, right? But something somewhere along the line just really switched for me internally, and I was just ready to do daily 2-hour meditations, and that is my commitment. And that's not counting, the lecture series on Buddhism or Hindu thought or Christianity or any of these beautiful mystic type of lectures and so on. And so I have that thing I'm working on still, always. If you did this yesterday, then you got to do more today, right? I still have that going for me. So that might be a little bit why I spent Monday. Okay, I can do 2-hour meditations. Let's try 4. But I just wanted to see if I could do it. So,
and how does it feel when you complete it?
Well, one might say, wow, really proud of yourself and really excited and so on. But no, really calm.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really otherworldly in a sense, and of course I live alone, so it's easier for me to come out of meditation and still
kind of stay
track
there
in the meditation state, as much as possible. Of course, I have kitties that are running around and, they take me out of it constantly, but in a good way. But yeah, so that was really cool to do. And, and so it just sort of speaks Vaguely right now of what I'm physically capable of doing in terms of pursuing a deeper spiritual practice. Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm going to call that successful, and
Yeah.
I'm going to do my money dance because you are amazing being able to sit on your ass for that long and be with your spiritual self. And yes, you are completely enlightened and only getting better and better like we always are. So I love that. I love that. I love that you can do
We
that.
are you know, we all, and we hear this all the time, but it's really true. It's not about getting anything or achieving
Right.
anything. It's really about removing the things that are getting in the way of what is already true. So, you know,
Yeah. And being still enough to see it, hear it, feel it, because it's already
exactly.
there. Yes, 100%. So success also means to a majority of the world, and definitely this country, stuff, material stuff. Like you mentioned, you've kind of stepped away from the materialism. However, you still have an amazing wood burning stove. I know you cook amazing meals. So that your materialism has just changed, basically, right? It's
Yeah,
not
it's
the
more
car and the
minimalist.
stuff.
It's
Yeah.
more minimalist. I'm a Libra, you know, I blame being a Libra, let's just say that. And, you know, we like luxury, we like nice textures and things like that. So, you know, I do come from a background. My mom was a clothes designer, and she was just very innovative and very creative and very talented. And so I grew up, even as a kid, looking at beaded, you know, clothing and hand beaded things and handmade, you know, clothes. And it was just beautiful. So I have an appreciation for that. But I maybe one day I'll live in a cave with a wooden bowl. I don't know. I'm not, you know, disregarding that possibility. But on the way there,
There you go.
I think the less we have, the lighter we are in many ways, because I think we energetically attach to our belongings, whatever that might be, our relationships and our belongings. And whenever that's natural for us to do that. And you know, there's a sense of energy exchange, energy giving, going toward that thing. So the more we have that's moving out of us to connect and attach with other things, the less central our energy really is, our vitality, our inner focus, our inner ear, you know. And so that's one thing I've noticed about getting rid of most of my things. But I will say that I love having few things, but I love that my few things are beautiful.
I love that. And I love having some of the stuff that you gave away because I looked amazeballs in your coat over the holidays.
Oh, you did. It was, I totally forgot about that. She looks even better in it than I ever did. So
Oh,
it's
no.
perfect.
It was
Perfect.
so great. I love it.
Yeah.
So I love that um that you said on the way to.
Mhm.
And for me, I felt, I mean, I feel successful because I got through being a single mother and I raised 2 children and I never lost my house, even though I lost income here and there and a lot of
Mhm.
crap happened. However, I still kept a roof and food over my children's head. And there, you know, I can't say I accomplished my daughter going to college, but she graduated from college. She accomplished that. I did feel a little bit of success getting through that time. It's never, I can say that anytime I'm striving to be successful, once I'm there, it never feels the way I think it's going to feel. So I'm literally taking the word success and throwing it away because it's on the way to your goals and to success that matter. And just like you said, when I am slowing down to let in and detach from stuff, because I have done that as well, followed your lead on that, and have more room and space around me to touch me and to feel me and to be in more joy around the things that I love, that feels like success during the day at 10 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock at night, doesn't matter. I can feel that success and feel amazing and feel abundant and feel free no matter what's going on externally. So that I basically I want like a shirt or something. How are you feeling on the way to whatever? Because that's the most important thing.
Mhm.
Like they
Yeah,
say,
I
the
think
journey,
it's
right?
right. I think it's called Boku or something. I can't remember exactly, but the Tibetans call it Boku. Bordeaux. I don't remember. Something that begins with a B. Anyway, and it represents the time
Time
so
between.
yeah, so so it's the transition time. So think of it like you've departed one train station and you're on your way to another location, and it's that time between that you can spend looking at your phone, reading, or just staring out of the window and just being with the change as you're moving through space, basically. But I really like the concept of that there's a word for that. I really like it because it does, when we think about it, it reminds us, me anyway, that our entire life basically is transition. There's
Yeah.
never really a starting point except birth, maybe, or maybe, and in some cases people believe that that's not
In
true,
the
right?
womb.
uh,
Yeah.
in the womb, beyond last life,
Previous
previous
life.
life,
Yep.
whatever, right? But there's never really a destination. So as you're talking about, as soon as you arrive at what you think you wanted to accomplish, that ought to have made you feel successful. But it doesn't feel the way that it was supposed to feel, because success isn't a feeling to start with. It's an idea, right?
Yeah.
So
Like,
I'm
yep.
as
Yep.
you're
It's an
as
image,
you're
like you
speaking.
said.
Yeah. So as you're speaking, I'm thinking more and more, maybe we ought to like relanguage that a little bit, feeling successful. What does that mean? We don't ever feel successful. We feel the things that achieving certain things, allow us to feel or give us a sense of a
Mm.
feeling of some sort, right? But
Hmm.
success isn't a feeling. And so it's interesting. So the brain kind of goes, wait, how do I feel successful? Do I feel successful? I never really feel successful, because it's not a feeling,
It's
right?
not a feeling.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like a
So
plateau.
anyway,
Well, we have to
yeah.
welcome Miss Caron Kavanaugh.
Hi.
Hi.
Where the hell have you
So,
been,
oh
woman?
my God, girl, I'm so sorry. I had us down for like an hour later.
That's what I figured.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
my
what I
bad.
figured. Well, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad I'm here too. I'm so sorry. And I'm sure there was all this incredible wisdom that I missed. So I'm going to have to go back and listen.
You will. Petalyn, she dropped her freaking gems as always. So
That is true. That is
I'm
true. No
glad you're
doubt.
here.
Me
So glad you're
too.
here. So we're just kind of talking about success. What does success look like in your life? What does it feel like? And, basically a culmination of everything we said. It just keeps changing, right? And
Mhm.
it's always different. And Petalyn did an amazing meditation Monday for 4 hours. Uh, I call that success because I could never sit still that long. But every
You and
time
me
I
both.
thought I was successful, I really didn't feel the way I thought I was going to feel. So just jump right in, Miss Soul Sister Caron, and tell us, what does success look like to your life, in your life?
Well, I
as
think
right now, defined right
Right now.
now.
right now,
You're here. You are
right now is
successful.
exactly. I was successful to actually make the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was successful not to trip on my way here, so that was a good thing, because normally I will, I'm spazzing. So yeah, you know what? It's so funny because it is fleeting, right? This whole idea of success, and it's so mental, and we think that, like you were saying, I know earlier, that we're supposed to feel something, and it's empty. It's like, I mean, in my career, I had, I was in sales for 30 years prior to being a coach. And, it's like success was hitting my sales goal.
Every week, every day. Yeah.
Every week, every day, how many calls did I make? And whatever that is, did I hit it? Did I hit it? It was this constant struggle of, is this, was I successful? Was I successful? And yet I was completely unfulfilled.
Yes.
Right. And so, whereas, now as a coach, it's a little bit different. It's like, it's really not, it's not so much about me as far as, am I successful? Are my clients successful at, do they feel like they're getting what they want and what they need from the coaching? Are they expanding? Are they growing? And what does that look like for them? And then there's also, the coaching is around when they don't do that, or even when they do and they're feeling that, it's like, okay, well, what else? And there's the problem too, is that there's this constant chasing after this success too. It's like the next, especially for, us type A'ers, it's like, it's this, it's a black hole. Like it's just never filled. And so that's where the key is really to, doing those things that feel good for us while we pursue our goals and our dreams. And that to me is like, when you're feeling fulfilled, that is success.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Fancy that. She said the same thing we did. I'm so shocked.
Yeah. I like the way she said it. She said it in the way that the Caron can say it. She sort of condenses everything and makes it into this little crystal star and hands it to you,
It took us 30 minutes to say what you said in like 2.
Well, gosh,
that's why
we could jump to another topic.
Right. Economy of words. Caron, do you have another Zoom to go to? You basically said everything you're going to say, right?
Right? I love it. Okay, so what did you do in the last week? What did you do, experience, feel, see, whatever, that brought you the idea of success?
I didn't do anything.
That's good too.
For me, you guys, you guys
huge.
know me.
That's
huge. That's successful. I really, I chilled out. I enjoyed the holidays. I didn't, I thought about work and like kind of creation and what I want to do for 2023. And I let it go versus getting on it, jumping on it, and just really giving myself this week to recalibrate and just allow myself to enjoy the holidays. And, it's raining, it's pouring here, and just, enjoy the rain and just hunker in and do that. So for me, that's successful.
That is successful for you, for sure. 100%. And that's kind of what we were saying too, is like, we need to almost schedule the time in to slow down and just receive and be and feel and create. And the thinking time, like Petalyn was mentioning, that's awesome. So now you brought up something else, Caron. The flip side of success, when we feel like crap, when we feel unsuccessful, when we shoulda, woulda, coulda ourselves all the time. How do we get out of feeling like a failure? Now, we all have core wounds. My core wound is failure. So staying in a marriage too long because I did not want to experience my core wound, staying at a company too long, staying inside of a friendship that was toxic too long, enabling my children too long because I don't want to be a failure, especially at a mother, at a relationship, or at a job or money or whatever. The flip side of being successful is being unsuccessful or a failure. How do we deal with that? Besides, all my whole life, I always just got into more action, do, which did not work. Any comments on that?
Well, we can shit all over our lives and, it doesn't do any good, right? We know that. And I think it's about having a healthy relationship with what we call failure and knowing that we're failing forward versus we're learning from those failures. And like, where's the opportunity in failure to recalibrate, to rethink, to redo in a way that allows us to grow and expand, and using failure as what we call failure as a springboard to what's next, right? And so having that, like, it's okay to. What if we stopped trying to walk every time that we fell when we were infants, right? When we were kids, we wouldn't get anywhere. So knowing, it's like each time we redid, we learned, we pulled up, we used different muscles, we did different things. It's whether it's different thinking or whatever it is to redo, and so where's the opportunity? And like, and trusting that whatever that failure is a good thing, right? And it's not something that is hurtful or harmful or, it doesn't, and there's a story, right? So like you're saying, Jennifer, it's your core wound. What is the story that we have around failure? What does it really mean? and it's whatever we say it is. And so if we say it's an opportunity, for growth, it's an opportunity to learn, it's, like, where's the lesson, then, so we don't do this again. That's a positive, right? It's really not a negative. So some of it is just a matter of flipping the story around failure.
I love that. I love that. It's so very true. Petalyn, how do you define or deal with or help your clients handle feeling unsuccessful or a failure?
Very much what Caron crystallized again. I have found that, even if we know that these are the things we should do, fail forward, take it as new information and so on. I think that there seems to, through my work with my own clients and with myself in my thinking time, it does seem that there is a step that is easy to bypass and further set us up for feeling like failures. And it sounds obvious when you say it, but no one fails forward without making the conscious decision that they're going to explore what it means to fail forward in this particular instance, or in this particular instance. If it was possible to fail because most people who feel like failures think of those people as those people. They do that thing. They're good at that. They can do that. It's different for them. I'm different, So what is the difference between those that do that just are stubborn and bullheaded and decide no freaking failure is going to, bring them down? They're going to make this work one way or another. So what is that, right? And I think, maybe it does require a certain amount of stubbornness, some gut level of, gosh darn it, no matter what anybody says, I'm going to make this work for me. Even if it doesn't end up looking like success to them, that's not important. I'm going to make this work somehow. I'm going to turn this into something that works for me. And then to really free ourselves from convention and be willing to get creative about what that means. It doesn't mean that the result may look the same as the result you were going for to start with. You're just going to circumvent and do different things. It may look entirely different. And to be open to changing what that version of success, what your idea of success actually is, because maybe we fail because we're not resonantly a good match for that particular outcome. That may not be what we're actually designed to do, if you will, right? And I really believe that having goals is a good thing. Having a destination in mind is a good thing for one reason alone, that it gets us going. I don't think that having a destination with a goal for matching it is particularly productive. Because I think that having goals and the experiences that we have between where we are and the goal that we've set is, again, it's a series of transitional points. And it's also about like a billiard ball on its way to the pocket, and all these other little billiard balls can come along and tap it just so, and tap it just so, and tap it just so, until it actually makes its way to where it's supposed to go, which may be an entirely different pocket. So we are finally attuned as we go along, and to allow for those attunements that really only come with having a destination in mind that may not actually be the destination. It may just be an attunement,
I love that. I love that. So, what we have to, what I want to strive for, which I do, but I didn't consciously say it, is on the way to the goal. So, right. They always say the journey, right? But it's on the way to the goal is the fun.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. That is success, is on your way to success. Freaking enjoying your life. That's success.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Challenging and struggling well. Like the Buddha says that there's two kinds of suffering: suffering that prolongs and guarantees more suffering, and then there's suffering that can bring suffering to an end. And so, being intentional about how you want to utilize your suffering, we can make that choice.
Yeah, we can absolutely make that choice. Yeah. So anyone listening right now, our goal, our definition of success is feeling
Whatever the
amazing
heck you want.
on the way to success and whatever the hell you want. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, we have 5 minutes left. Let me see, successful, unsuccessful, what is in your life? Okay, so let's talk about, I put success in there because that's what everybody, normally talks about, but you might have a different word in your life. Do you have a different word? Do you use, now that Caron, you're not in the sales any longer, you're helping your clients succeed and helping them accomplish their goals. But is there a different word that you would use instead of success this time in your life?
I would use the word fulfillment.
I love that.
Good word. It's a good word.
Yeah.
Good
It's like,
word.
where are you fulfilled, and where are you not fulfilled? And where you're not fulfilled, that's an area for attention. I mean, certainly you want to continue to be fulfilled in the areas that you are and continue to water and that, but so that continues to grow. And then where are the areas that are not being fulfilled, where you don't have joy, where you don't have happiness and feel that just like, that warmth in your soul. Those are the areas to really maybe take a look at, and how can you create that fulfillment in all aspects of life.
And I love that you said the different areas, right? Because we have financial, we have emotional, we have spiritual, we have physical, our bodies, we have our health, we have time, all different areas. So we can be fulfilled in certain areas and some not in others. I love that. Petalyn, what word would you use besides success this time in your life?
I think fulfillment is a good word. For me, I would probably use the word peace. It just resonates well right now. And when I say peace, I don't want to even remotely give the impression that I don't want the struggles, that I don't want the days where I just feel off balance and so on. Because peace for me needs to include those things. It really is a way of living with all of these things that occur, even on the janky days, when I feel disconnected, because there ought to be, I would hope that we can come to a place where we actually really enjoy the experience of existence, where we enjoy the experience of being alive. Yes. Yeah. And all that means in our human life, right? So the challenges, the sorrows, the grief, all of these things, the letting go, the attachments, the cravings, the aversions, all of these things. This is the practice. We don't become good and then have a good practice. These things in our lives, this is the practice. And so we can use all of it to practice whatever version of success, to be fulfilled, to be peaceful, to be whatever, and to somehow find the peace within that, and to find the fulfillment within being able to do this. It's quite extraordinary, really.
And on the way to whatever, feeling fulfilled. I love that word, Caron. Thank you. I really do love that word. I'm waiting for being able to see my notice of how much time we have. Okay, we're doing good. Oh no, we're almost done. Okay, so let's wrap it up with, is there anything that you would like to say to anyone around one tip? Here we go. One tip that would help people feel fulfilled. I'm going to say, the first thing that I'm going to say is going back to stuff, because most of us relate success to labels or stuff. But really, if everything around you brings you joy, you're going to feel fulfilled. So go through your house, pick everything up. If you don't like it, get rid of it. Somebody else might love it, or toss it. But having, like you said, Petalyn, earlier, things around you that you really love helps with us feeling fulfilled in those downtimes. Okay, Who wants to go next?
I would say plan in thinking time. Don't just hope to, or maybe, or if I can, actually plan it in, and and schedule it. Keep it a consistent schedule, and make sure turn your phone off. Make sure everybody else knows that you cannot be disturbed, whether it's a day, 2 hours, half a day, a week, whatever it is,
Okay, I got to start with like 30 minutes, dude. Like, calm down. A day, a half a day. Are you kidding me?
Well, it doesn't mean you have to sit in meditation. It just means, give yourself alone time, silence to listen.
Yeah. Okay, that I can do.
Yeah.
That I can do. I love that. Caron.
Gratitude. Practice gratitude. Find a way
Practice.
to, even for a minute, if you just think about some things, and it's not so much, people make gratitude lists and those are fine and good. It's what creates the fulfillment and the joy is the feeling of gratitude. And so it's like, if I think of, I am grateful for my home. Well, why? It's the why that's the feeling that continues to resonate, that feeling of fulfillment. So I feel grateful for my home because it provides me shelter and it's my sanctuary. I'm grateful for my friends because they love and support me through thick and thin and love me unconditionally. So it's the why around and the thing that you're grateful for. So
I love it. It's the why.
Beautiful.
It's on the way. It's
Always
the
the
relaxed
why.
time. It's the downtime. Oh my God. I love playing with you, lovely ladies. I love you so much. And this is episode 2. Don't miss episode 3 because we're going to be back with some more chaos. I can't wait. Love you all, ladies, so much. Mwah!
yeah, love you too.
Bye, Caron. Bye, Jennifer.
Yeah.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, every Thursday right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zeros, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my finances.